And welcome back to what is one of the most anticipated matches of this first weekend. We have Pandemic Legion versus Dystopia Alliance. I am Ravy, one of your hosts. I'm here with Zastro, and we have a very, very interesting fight coming up. This is two teams that we haven't seen anything quite like them yet in this weekend, and the match is about to start. I'll run down the first team. Pandemic Legion is running a Sleipnir, 3 Cyclones, and 2 Griffins.
Meanwhile, we see 3 Ishkers, a Claymore, Widow, and a Carries for the Dystopia team. These are completely different setups. I'm curious to see how it goes. Dystopia is a really small alliance. They have a long alliance tournament history, but unless they play on alts, it doesn't seem like they're really that active, whereas PL is fighting all the time. So let's see if that inactivity hurts them.
Dystopia, both these teams have a huge amount of tournament experience. We're seeing a team in Dystopia that has competed in every tournament except for the last one where they didn't make it into the draw, even all the way back to Tournament 1. And PL, who's won the tournament 3 times in the past. There's people on this team like Seamus Orzaz, the captain, or the leader of PL, Brianna, the captain. We've got Istvan, the leader of the famed Heist. A really great lineup here. We're seeing damage applied to the Widow of NT Rabbit right now.
A lot of jamming graphics going up across the Pandemic Legion, but that Widow's taking damage so fast, I don't think any of those jams actually stuck.
With a team of this many large Minotaur ships and then some Griffins for counter jamming, it's going to be very hard for them to jam everyone, and it looks like they weren't able to. That Widow of NT Rabbit is down. NT Rabbit, by the way, I think has more skill points than anyone else in this game, at least very close to that, but it wasn't enough to help him against all the damage from these cycles.
And that Widow being the linchpin of the Dystopia team at this point, it's going to be hard for them to come back from that loss.
It's going to be very, very difficult. At this point, they're going to go after the Ishkers if they can, grab the Claymore, but there's almost no DPS left, well, there wasn't a ton of DPS in the first place from Dystopia's team, but they really needed that Widow for the jams. As it is, we're seeing damage spread across the ships from PL. I can tell you right now, all of the PL battlecruisers, Cyclones and Sleipnirs, are all running ancillary shield boosters. That's what's going to keep them alive without requiring a logistic ship, and that's what allows them so much DPS. When you take out the logistic ship, rely on the ACBs for your tank, it allows you to put all your points into damage.
It really leaves Dystopia without a very crunchy target to shoot at all. I mean, they could go for the Griffins, but that's just a 2-point frigate.
Yeah, and they have been, and we see Lennox Halkin's Griffin go down. Taking down those Griffins are going to allow them to get the locks that they need with ships like the Claymore, but really what they need to do is bring down these DPS ships, and they haven't been able to do that yet.
I like the Pandemic Legion setup here because when you have a logistics on your team, once that logistics goes down, your overall tanking ability suffers so greatly. But if Pandemic Legion were to lose one of those battle cruisers, it's nowhere near as catastrophic of a loss as losing their logistics ship.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it allows them to have higher DPS.
At this point, the Cyclone of Kata-El, an alt of CSM member Elise Randolph, is under fire and tanking well, but eventually it's going to run out of cap boosters in that shield booster and go down. But in the meantime, we're seeing a lot more ships lost from Dystopia.
Claymores do have an incredible tank. I think it was wise of PL to save it for after they crushed some of the other ships on the team.
Mm-hmm. And that Claymore is tanking by itself. It likely also has an ancillary shield booster. We're seeing a lot of ACBs. It's possible the Widow had one too. ACB Widows are also a very strong ship in this tournament.
Right now, all of the ships are all clumped up in a ball, humping each other in the middle of the arena, working on that Claymore.
And there that Claymore goes. And that leaves only a Carries and an Ishkur left for Dystopia, and we're likely going to see a very convincing victory for Pandemic Legion.
Yeah, definitely. As soon as that Widow went down, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. PL was just going to steamroll Dystopia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which I give Dystopia credit. You brought a different lineup. You're experimenting with something different, but this is PL you're going up against here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it'd be worth rolling the dice if you were going up against such a strong team like PL. Instead of going with a more traditional lineup that everyone else has seen so far in the tournament, you might as well try something new.
Yep, and it was something creative. Tyrax Thork, the leader of the Dystopia team, is well known for bringing creative, out-of-the-box setups, for liking setups that are complicated and clever. But
or very
in
expensive.
this case, Yeah, and or very expensive, as he is very famous for losing an Imperial issue Apocalypse in a tournament once. But and his teams generally do very well. But in this case, PL just brought a massive amount of DPS. This is, I think, the highest, at least but that I've seen, the highest DPS team PL could have really brought. And with this much
PL
DPS, it's
being
just really hard to counter.
PL being one of the strong favorites to win the tournaments, being one of the winningest teams in Alliance tournament history. They claim their first win of this tournament. So
Hmm.
congratulations to them. Just Pandemic, Dystopia. Let's see if you can turn it around in the later prelims, and that will do it for this match. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes.